I am Socrates Herrera from Colombia. I am the director of the Center for Scientific Research, Caucaseco, in Cali, Colombia, and that center directs the International Center of Excellence for Malaria Research for non-Amazonian regions of Latin America. The reason to enter into the malaria field was that as a junior physician, I spent an internship in a malaria endemic region in Colombia. And even though I was thinking to go for an internship afterwards and a residency in a clinical, in any of the clinical subjects of medicine, I had to face the difficulty and what is a sort of tragedy for patients suffering malaria in underserved regions of the world, and that was the case in Colombia, where we were having children and teenagers and very young people sometimes dying because of malaria. So I decided that I wanted to go and learn more about that, and had the opportunity to enter into a research lab immediately after I finished my what we call rural year of medicine, and then afterwards moved from Colombia to Switzerland to get more advanced training in tropical diseases. And this was the starting point of the training. Being in Switzerland, the Colombian university, the one I am working now, I got a fellowship grant from the WHO, from World Health Organization, to establish a center of research along the Pacific coast of Colombia. So, and I was invited to go to work back down in Colombia, where I have been for the last 28 years, working and trying to set up the conditions to work in basic research in an endemic area. We have been working for the last 25 years in developing conditions for doing sort of advanced research. We have been trying to develop a vaccine to use to prevent Plasmodium vivax malaria. And with the time, with these 25 years, we have realized that there is a need to go to the field and move away from the lab and try to better understand the conditions and the ecology and the geography and all the environment that is facilitating the transmission of the disease and the spreading of the disease among the endemic communities. So I think that what we can contribute in this initiative now is put together some questions from the lab and provide samples from the field that we are working in, and trying to contribute to more questions and more reagents to be able to take the best profit of the advanced technology that is available for the project. I think that even though the project we are dealing with now is pretty much basic research to try to understand the disease and to try to understand the parasite and to try to understand the interaction between human and parasites and parasites and mosquito, this is highly likely that it is going to end up developing, facilitating the development of tools for diagnosis, for treatment, for many other things. So I think that this is going to, in the long run, be of great contribution to the endemic communities. In the meanwhile, that's also going to facilitate us better understanding what we are getting with the vaccines, for example, that in our case we are testing in Colombia. We are developing a very active program that is in the clinical phase development, where vaccines are already being tested in human, and then having the possibility of studying the samples from volunteers that have been immunized with a test vaccine. Then we are going to increase the amount of information and obviously the learning as to if the vaccine might be suitable or not for application in a large scale. Mayprick is bringing together the most advanced technology available now to understand the disease globally in terms of this interaction that I already mentioned between among the parasite, the human host, and the mosquito vector. And this is something that we are missing if we want to attempt elimination or eradication of malaria. I think that in the long run, this is going to contribute to efforts that we are doing in different regions of the world. For example, our center in Colombia is leading an international center of excellence that is covering a region comprised between Guatemala and Peru. And the conditions in those regions in terms of epidemiology and malaria transmissions are completely different from the ones that are happening in India and in China and in Africa, for example. And it is absolutely needed if we want to eliminate malaria from the planet, that we understand the conditions and what is happening in different type of ethnic groups, for example, in different kinds of communities with different types of parasites, with different types of vectors transmitting the disease. So I think that it is going to significantly contribute in the long run to the elimination and eradication goal.